Good evening, good evening. It is Tuesday. Atlanta's first meteorologist Patrick Pete joining you for an update on what we have coming towards us as we head through the next, let's say, 12 to 15 hours or so. So I'm going to give everyone a second to get on the line. Wanted to make sure you all knew that we have some active weather that is coming our way. We have a first alert in effect for tomorrow morning and even a first alert for parts of tomorrow afternoon. So once again, we're talking about some rain that's going to impact your morning commute. We do have a level 1 out of 5 risk for strong thunderstorms. You can see all of that highlighted by the area that's essentially south of the I-85 corridor. Once again, damaging wind going to be our primary concern with this, but everybody's going to pick up on some rain tomorrow, and we're all going to be dealing with a little bit of wind. I just think that some of the strongest winds are going to actually be outside of some of those showers and thunderstorms. So wanting to make sure that I prepare you for everything that we have coming our way, trying to give you a little bit of time to get on this live. It's been about a minute, and we're going to start to roll through the data. So first alert for isolated thunderstorms, but widespread showers and some pretty gusty winds in those thunderstorms, but also outside of those storms. So here's how we will get through the day. We're tracking that line of rain starting to move into our extreme north and westernmost communities early morning. I think that while you're asleep, some of this shower activity is going to start to hit your roof. So do not be surprised if it wakes you up a little bit. A couple of rumbles of thunder, not out of the question. We just don't expect this to be an overwhelmingly crazy display of lightning. So just rain and wind going to be our primary concern. You can see that main line pushing through the metro as we get closer to around the 6 o'clock hour. This is going to be that morning drive. It's going to be that morning commute where folks are going to be getting out on those roadways. We are first alerting you to the fact that it is going to be a wet and windy situation for the morning drive. And you can see some of those darker shades there indicating some of that rain that is going to be a little bit more aggressive. And then as we get closer to around 10, most of that moisture starts to push on out towards the north and east. So we'll see things drying up pretty quickly here. As far as the day, we're only expecting the morning to be impacted by the showers, but there's going to be a tight pressure gradient here, and that tight pressure gradient is the reason why we're going to see those winds get a bit more aggressive. I don't know if you were tracking our coverage through the show today, but we were showing you this storm system that's moving through portions of Texas and Louisiana. That is going to eventually push our way, but weaken as it does. So that's where we're going to get all of this energy from, and we'll see this pushing on out roughly around 10 to 11 o'clock, and then we'll see some breaks in some of the clouds. We'll see temperatures that are actually going to rebound, and I expect some locations to get into the upper 50s, low 60s for a couple of hours before the actual winds shift behind that cold front. Max, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the stream. We'll see those winds begin to shift as we head into the evening hours. That area of low pressure is going to lift off to the north. There's going to be a little bit of wraparound moisture, so I can't rule out a couple of flurries in the mountains. But once again, flurries, no accumulation, shouldn't be much of a big deal. And we'll see things start to quieten down a little bit as far as the skies are concerned. So if you are joining us, just joining the stream, I see there's some new folks here. We're talking about a rain event, a wind event that's going to be heavier on the morning side, but the winds are actually going to be around for a while. Let's talk about some rain totals because that's part of our story here. We're talking about widespread ½ inch to 1 inch of rain. Now, in general, a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain, not a big deal. It's enough to soak the grounds a little bit, maybe water some plants if we were in spring. But because we just picked up about 2 inches of rain on Sunday across the area, that is going to mean that our grounds are very soggy. They're waterlogged. And when you have a ground that is very saturated, and then we talk about a system that's going to bring some elevated winds, even if those winds don't get to severe limits, even if they're not gusting 60, 70, 65 miles per hour, even if they're just 35, 40, 45, that can be enough to knock down some trees. So we just kind of want to give you a heads up. We don't expect this to be a widespread situation, but that potential will be there. We want you to know that this is going to happen during the morning drive, so that could delay you a little bit. Let's talk about those winds because the National Weather Service issued a wind advisory. They actually put this out earlier today. It goes into effect in a few hours. So we're talking about starting at midnight and lingering for 24 hours. So this is not going to expire until early Thursday morning at midnight as well, as breezy conditions along this pressure gradient are going to be widespread across not only the state but the region. If I were in the Weather Center, I could zoom this out and show you that it's pretty much a large chunk of the south that is going to be impacted by these elevated winds. And we're already seeing some of that right now in Louisiana. I actually was tracking a tornado-warned cell that was moving through my hometown. So I've been speaking with people there, and thankfully they're okay. It looks like the rotation was a little bit weaker. Thankfully, that system is going to only weaken as it propagates towards the east, so that's going to be good for us. Meanwhile, those winds are still going to be an issue throughout the day. Here's how we get through the day, and I expect the winds to be elevated in the morning. We're talking about 25 to 35 miles per hour wind gusts at 7 a.m. when folks are on the roads. And it's not that big of a deal if you're at home, other than the tree situation, but if you're driving on the interstate, driving next to an 18-wheeler or any vehicle that is kind of top heavy as far as the weight is concerned, that can make it a little bit difficult to drive. I have a Jeep, and I know that when it's windy outside, my Jeep, when the top is on, it can kind of sway either way. And whenever I'm driving on the interstate next to an 18-wheeler, that can cause an issue, compounded by the fact that it'll be raining as well. Just want to make sure you guys have that heads up on driving a little bit more cautiously through the morning. And then I expect the winds to die down for a few hours, where they won't be gusting 25, 35, 40, but they're just going to be gusting 20-ish. But then as we head into the afternoon, it's going to pick back up again, and we'll see some of those gusts get into the mid-20s, even into the lower 30s for a few hours before we start to see that energy pushing on out. And we're still going to keep the winds a little elevated for Thursday. But if you notice here, we're talking about a west-northwesterly component to the wind. So that's going to be a net cooling wind. So temperatures are going to be colder. We're going to struggle to get to the mid-40s. And I actually expect those wind chills to be a little bit cooler than that. So we can spend a large chunk of Thursday afternoon actually feeling like the mid to upper 30s. So another day for you to maybe hang up that rain jacket after tomorrow morning and put on that nice thicker jacket, because it is going to be a bit breezy and chilly for all of your Thursday. And as we extend out the forecast, we have a dry stretch of weather, not only Thursday, but into Friday as well. We're talking about temperatures that are going to struggle to hang out near 50 on Thursday, getting into the lower 50s for a couple of hours on Friday. And then we're watching our next system that's going to start to move in for the weekend. Now, Saturday is still the weekend winner. If you had any plans, you wanted to get out and about, maybe you wanted to take the kids to the park, maybe take the dogs for that longer walk, maybe get in a bike ride, any of those outdoor activities for the weekend, Saturday is going to be the day to do that. By Sunday, we're going to start to see that moisture moving in. And it looks like that rain's going to move in late day Sunday. So Sunday afternoon to evening is when we have that best chance of seeing those showers. And then that 7-day forecast dries out on Monday. We'll look at temperatures that are going to be above average, hitting that 60-degree mark. And then we're watching for more rain to move in again on Tuesday. So another first alert for rain. Another first alert for rain on Sunday, and then tomorrow morning's first alert for rain, breezy, gusty winds, and that isolated thunderstorm. So I'm watching all of our chats on Facebook, and I'm also watching the chats on YouTube. Looks like there's been about 100 of you that have jumped in and out on YouTube. I am checking your comments today. I hadn't checked them this week. That is my bad. If you have any questions or comments for the forecast, I can respond to you there. I see Max on Facebook. Look like he's good. So if you guys are wondering about the rain totals, we're going to get a significant amount of rain over the course of the next 7 days. And myself and Fred are going through those numbers right now. We're going to have an update for you tonight at 9. So I hope that you have had a fantastic Taco Tuesday. Wait, today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, I hope you've had a fantastic Taco Tuesday, and we're going to have more for you coming up tonight at 9.